Now, the big secret that everybody wants to know about is ABS and traction control and stability track. How do you keep all that stuff working? Well, here's how. If you look right in here, down in there you can see the ABS sensor and the ABS ring. That's actually an H3 rotor and an H3 caliper. These are 4-piston calipers. H3s have really great brakes. These are non-floating, okay, so they bolt on rigid. The caliper mounts that I have made bolt right in here and sit over your spindles, and they include a sensor mount. This is a stock GM wheel speed sensor, and it bolts into this little block, positions the tip of it right on the reluctor ring, sends a signal to the computer. And this is a flat top driver's side knuckle, which they all are. Nothing special. All knuckles for GMs came with a flat top on the left side, but the one everybody wants is on the other side, and that's the one that usually costs you at least $100. And then you got to mill it and get a flat surface on there and drill and tap it so you can use your crossover steering. The rotors actually, when you take the caliper off, the rotors actually pull off over these studs just like a stock Hummer does. Standard Dana 44, the rotors actually go on the back side of this hub flange, and then the wheel studs are driven through it, pressed on, and that attaches the rotor permanently to the hub. The conversion kit that I make for these comes with the hubs and new metric studs, so you can reuse all your factory Hummer lug nuts and stuff, matches the rear. And in the rotors, you drill out the holes slightly. It allows you to slide the rotor on over it. And there's some other work that needs to be done to the hubs to get that to happen, but it's all fairly minor. When you get this all done, this sends a signal, and the brakes work just like they did before. ABS, traction control, there's no dash lights, and it keeps the computer happy so that everything works great. Okay. One more thing about the steering box is on the back side of this area right here, there's a brake line that comes down to a brass T block and then goes back up. All of that has to come out of the way because you're going to mount the box to it right here. So that one brake line does need to be rerouted out and around all that. Traditionally, if you're running a solid axle, you would bring brake lines down flexible at the middle and then split and run out rigid along the axle here. Rather than do that, I kept with the stock approach, which is basically from when it was IFS. I reused the same brackets and brake lines and everything, just connected, routed these over. So I have quite a bit of pigtail left on them, and you're going to need that because this suspension will droop to hell and back. Up travel's only probably, you got about 1.5 inches, and then this will compress another 2 to 3 inches, so you probably have maybe 4 inches of up travel before it bottoms hard. But the droop on this thing is way out there, so probably 8-10 inches or more, and it's still real drivable. You can tell I drive this thing all the time. It's not a trailer queen or nothing, and it rides nice and steers nice. Here's the Nissan box. That's what those look like, and here's the shaft I was telling you about. It's a round splined shaft. This is a Hummer rack, and you see how it's got flats on it right here, and then a pinch bolt. So basically I just grab an angle grinder and I turn this into that, and that allows me to plug the stock intermediate shaft right on there. This one here is scheduled to go to West Texas off-road and get a redneck ram mod for it. They're gonna tap it probably like right here and right here. I'll leave that up to them. They're gonna tap this, and that way I'll have ports for ram assist, and buy their ram kit and everything, and they'll rebuild it and send it back to me, and then I'm gonna swap this one out for the one that's on the truck. That way I don't have any downtime. Here's what my new link bars look like. This on this one, when I swap this in, I'm going to use a urethane bushing on one end, and I'm going to use a Johnny joint on the other. The one that's in there now is Johnny jointed on both ends. No real reason, I'm just experimenting and trying it out. I don't think I'm flexing enough to really take advantage of 6 joints, so I'm going to replace one end of them with the urethane and just see how it drives, and you know, see if it's really any different. These are much cheaper. These little guys here are expensive, 50, 60 bucks a piece. These are ballistic fabs, by the way. Really nice. This spanner wrench that you can use to adjust the amount of preload you have inside there. Nice unit. Here's what the coil buckets look like. These are mine. These are the ones that I designed. They're slightly different, but they work the same way. This will sit on the frame right here, and coil goes in between them. Of course, they have captures. Holds your spring in there, so when you droop, you don't shoot your spring out the side of the truck. Here's what my brackets look like. Like I said, these are slightly different from the ones that's on the truck, which are chopped and cut up ballistic fab. These are actually made to install like this. So you open the box, stick them on your axle, weld them up. Have the spring center line here, have the shock center line here, but the link is moved inboard, and that's what's different about them. If you buy them from ballistic fab, the link is in the same center line as the shock and the spring. It's way out here, and when you turn your tire, it hits it. So what I did is added a third plate and then moved the link mount to the other side, and then what that does is it shifts the whole link inward about 3 inches and gets you a lot more tire room. And here you can see the angle that you have to get that bracket right up in that little hole between the oil pan and the frame rail. 15-degree angle. And there is the ABS hubs. These have new races already installed. They've been tanked and cleaned and turned on a lathe. Had some other minor machine work done to get the sensor rings on there, and then also to allow the rotors to slip on over them, which is completely different from how the original Dana comes.